Also, make sure you do not stand up on the ground, stay seated. Keep all your important body parts inside as well. I do not want to have to come back and collect any of them. Also, when we are down in the mine, please, once again, do not use any light sources. Follow the light into this area. Alright, turn it off. Now they're up here a little bit more.
Yeah, this is scary.
Alright, everybody. Just hold that gate open. Don't let it shut on anyone. Very good. Keep coming, everybody. And if I can't see, we're all lost. Alright, so folks, we are now directly below that big tall tower we saw on the surface. Now that is called the poppet head. So as I said, we are directly below that poppet head. We are 22 metres down below the surface, and for reference, that tower is itself 22 metres high. But this is just one working level of the mine. Alright, so this mine had 11 working levels. Okay, the bottom level was actually 330 metres below the surface, which is about the height of the Eiffel Tower. Alright, so a long way down. Now to get in and out of the miners did use this safety cage. Does it look really safe? It's pretty safe, doesn't it? Very steady and reliable. Alright, now just for reference as well, this vertical tunnel is called a shaft, and a horizontal tunnel like the one we walked through is called a drive. Now back in this time they did not have mobile phones, so to communicate with the surface they used a series of bells. Now we want to hoist this to the surface, so how many times do you think I need to ring the bell? 4. Correct, thank you folks. There we go. So up on the surface there is a man who is controlling the cages and listening to the bells. Now, if something happened to this cage, your other option of course is to use the ladder. But remember that very bottom level is actually 330 metres below us, so it would take a full-grown man about an hour and a half to climb from the bottom to the top. In complete darkness as well, because there were no candles in that shaft. Now, who wants to go see some gold?
Me.
Yeah, that's what we came for, isn't it? Alright, give me a second, folks. So folks, don't go down there holding a giant hammer. And here's hammer. So, in here is a pneumatic rock drill. Alright, so it is runoff compressed air, and they are drilling into the rock here. So much more efficient, it would take you a day to drill enough holes versus the week back at the hammer and tap. However, it is very dangerous and very loud. What they are doing here is they are drilling directly into quartz rock. Now quartz is a very, very sharp rock. It is like glass. 3 rows, so if I can have children at the front, I can row. Old people at the back. This is actually an independent mine, so it's not part of the company mine. In fact, the company did not know this was here, and neither did Sovereign Hill. until 1976 when they were blasting through this space to create this drive for us. All right, so this actually predates the company mine by a couple of decades. So we believe this was operating from about the 1860s, 1870s. But we actually don't know much about the people that were here because independent miners didn't need to keep a record of what they were finding. So we know that they dug all of this space out by hand with a pick and a shovel. And just so you know, it does go 15 meters down that way and 15 meters down behind you. So it's a big space. All right. So we believe they were a small Cornish family, probably about 3 or 4 men. Now, Cornish pitmen came over here. They're very, very good tin miners. They've been mining tin for thousands of years. So this is called the stope and pillar. Stope is a Cornish word meaning step, which refers to this feature here. So it looks a bit like a step. So yes, stope and pillar. Now, this whole space, based on the company estimate, we do believe that they've dug out about 500 tons of quartz rock. So do you think they found anything? No, you're not going to be digging out that much rock if you're not, especially over about 3 years, if you're not finding anything. So based on the estimate, we believe that they've dug out about 5 kilograms of gold from this whole space. I believe knows the way out. Maybe? I'm sure you'll find it. It'll be fine. So folks, do want to say thank you for coming on my tour today. If you had a good time, please don't forget my name is Jody. If you didn't, then my name is Phoebe. All right? Thanks to me.
The job that I'm about to demonstrate to you is a job that was done by someone back in the 1860s and beyond. That person was known as a mine blacksmith and had a very important job, and that was to purify the gold that comes from underground. Wherever you find gold around the world, it will not be pure. You can't get pure gold straight out of the ground. It always has impurities in it. And those impurities are other metals. Silver, copper mainly, also sometimes some tin or some iron. They are blended through the gold. As a result, the gold is not pure. It's my job to make it pure. Now, pure gold is 24 carat. We try and keep the kids a little. Pure gold is 24 carat. Now, you can't get 24 carat out of the ground because it always has those impurities in it. And what we're finding here in Ballarat is 22 carat gold. 22 carat gold is very, very good quality gold. It's about 92% pure. Very small traces of impurities. If I can turn that 22 carat gold into 24 carat gold, then the mining company that I work for can go and sell that piece of gold and get a much higher price for it. It's better quality gold. So they send their miners underground, they find the gold, they give it to me, I clean it and I give it straight back to them. Now it was 1851 when they first discovered the gold here in Ballarat, and they tried to keep it a secret because they knew what would happen. Because it happened 3 years ago in 1848 California. Once word got out, too many people all at once. Same thing happened here. For a period of about 10 years, people came and left. They're all out there looking for nuggets. They're doing shallow alluvial mining, getting those nuggets off the surface. Deep lead mining, digging 30-metre holes until we get down to the riverbeds. Basically destroying Ballarat's landscape. There wasn't a tree left. Let's fast forward 10 years now, 1861. The mining companies are setting up here. The mining companies are choosing Ballarat because we have the best gold in the world. And we have so much of it. But they're not actually looking for it. The mining companies that set up here in Ballarat are actually mining quartz. They're quartz mining companies. And the reason they're mining quartz is because there is gold inside that rock. No nuggets, just very fine veins of gold. Veins like wire, veins as thin as a blade of grass. Now the problem is not all quartz contains gold. And the quartz that does is on average 100 metres underground. They're very difficult to get to. In those first 10 years, one man and his mates and their shovels can't dig a hole that deep. But a mining company can. They've got a far greater workforce. They've paid contracted workers. They've got better equipment. It's been shipped in from England. Steam power to do the hard work. So down they go. The company washed away. And this is what we're left with. Tiny, tiny pieces of gold. Pieces of gold that are 22 carat. Pieces of gold that are so small they are worthless by themselves. But imagine having a whole lot of it. Very quickly gains value, especially when you make it pure. Now up until this point I have had nothing to do with the discovery of this gold. I don't even go underground as the mine blacksmith. I do all my work up here. So they present me with that gold, basically dust. Goes straight into a crucible like this one. Half a cup every time we do it. On top of those gold pieces, a little bit of flux powder. I used potash in those days, I use borax today. Floats on top of the gold. All the impurities will stick to that powder. The crucible goes into the furnace. And we take it up to a temperature where the gold will become a liquid. That is its melting point, 1064 degrees. Now that sort of heat, everything inside here has melted. Gold, silver, copper, tin, iron, anything. Again, gold sinks to the bottom. It's the heaviest. And all the impurities being lighter, they rise up through the gold and just sit on top. Now at that point, they stick to that powder I put in there. They are collected, turned into a dirty brown crust of impurities. Just floating on top of the gold. Now I can scrape those off, or I can tip the crucible, they will float to the back, and I can just pour out the gold. That's 24 carat gold now. The impurities stay in there. And here in Ballarat, they used a single-use crucible made of clay. So the impurities in there were thrown away with it. But today my crucible is reusable. I can use that as many times as I like, basically until I wear it out. Now the one thing that makes doing this job a little harder than it needs to be is the fact that gold cools down very, very quickly. Hundreds of degrees within seconds. So if I take it to its melting point, 1064, and I bring it away and I set it down over here, by the time I get to the table it's already solid. And the only way around that is not to work faster. Let's take it much hotter so that it's still in liquid form by the time I get here to the table to pour it. Now heating it up to about 1200 degrees will give me around about 15 seconds to get it out of the furnace and into that there cast iron mould. Now that's been sitting over the flames getting nice and hot. It's about 400 degrees, and I've preheat that just to protect it, make it last a little bit longer. Now at this point, I can see the gold in here is melting right now. That tells me, just through simple science, I've reached its melting point. There is 1,064 degrees in here now. And as I said, I'm going up to 1,200 degrees. From this point on, it's guesswork. There is no thermometer out the front here. So from this point on, I need to stay about right here. Keep watching the gold so that I don't overcook it and burn it. And if I do burn it, I'll end up with a purple looking gold bar. Alright, young 3 children. These are my volunteers. They're just going to stand over here so they don't get burnt. Just because they're in the splash zone. Alright, gold is completely liquid. Now, a lot of you are already filming, that's great. If anybody wants to take photos, now's a good opportunity. Get your device ready. We are coming out of here in less than 10 seconds.